There's no question that Rocket League has evolved a ton since it first came out, and it's continuing to evolve. If you think you've mastered everything in this game, I promise you, you're wrong. I've talked a lot about the best goals and the most iconic goals in Rocket League history, and these videos have focused more on the competitive scene more than anything else. In this video, I'm looking at the most insane goals that have come out of the Rocket League community. Because I've already talked about the craziest goals in RLCS and in show matches, I'm mainly going to be looking at goals scored within the Rocket League community, and the craziest goals usually don't happen in tournaments anyways. Also, I realize I've probably missed a bunch in this video. It's honestly just impossible to know of all of them, so be sure to let me know in the comments below if you can think of any that I've missed, because I actually would really like to see those ones, and I know there are a bunch that I probably missed. Also, if you like this kind of stuff, make sure to check out Rocket League FX series called Rocket League Insanity. It's just like full of stuff like this. Before I get into the video, I wanted to let you know that this video is sponsored by GAMERLINK. GAMERLINK is an amazing free app for finding other Rocket League players. If you're into trading and items, like, it's the best place to find people to trade with. But it's also great to find people who just want to play ranked or maybe just chill and have fun. It's super easy to use, and again, it's completely free. I've put a link in the description below if you're interested in checking that out. Alright, let's get into my picks for the 10 most insane Rocket League goals of all time. Again, these are just my picks. I'm sure you know some that are more deserving, and also I've put links in the description below of all of the goals if you feel like checking them out. Okay, on to the video. Number 10. 13 passes in one play. There are a bunch of things that you could pretty easily miss if you're not paying attention the first time you watch this video. The first thing is that Musti and his teammate are winning 7-0. The other team has obviously been having issues. One of the players had tried to forfeit and the other didn't want to. You know the deal. So yes, this isn't 13 passes against a team that's really trying to defend the net. But this one poor guy actually is doing what he can to hold down the goal. He's like trying to predict what they're doing and they just keep passing it back and forth to each other. I also love how many opportunities they have to score, but they just keep bumping it back to each other. Like, I honestly don't think Musti would have ever stopped trying to pass it. Really, this one's more funny than anything else. Number 9, the scrub killa ground pinch. I talked about this in my video on the 10 nuttiest scrub killa moments. Ground pinches are really amazing, and the key to getting a really good one is turning a ceiling shot into a ground pinch, because you've saved your dodge and you can put so much more power on it compared to if you just flew down to the ground without that dodge and attempted to pinch it that way. Like, we've all done that before, and it doesn't create near as much power as if you have that dodge and you just like smash it into the ground. Guys, these ground pinches are really good. They're really good. 176, like, they're really hard to save. Yeah. Just showing you how good the pinches from the ground are. Number 8, the ceiling shot flick. There's just something about this goal for me. I think it's the way it looks like nothing is gonna come out of it. Like he's just aimlessly falling to the ground after thinking too long about what kind of shot he was gonna do. And then out of nowhere, it turns out he has a crazy diabolical plan. And this is what ends up happening. This is something that high-level players are starting to realize. Flipping your car around and hitting it with a backflip is often your only option. This takes an insane amount of car control to even like realize that you can do this. And though shots like this are rarely planned, it doesn't mean that they're accidental or that they're just luck. It's almost intuitive for high-level players to do what they can to make a shot work. And that's what I think of when I see shots like this. Number 7, the flip reset throw. Players are really starting to use flip resets in some really creative ways, as we'll see a little bit later on in the video. One of the ways flip resets are being used is almost as a flick. Players are sort of catching the ball with the underside of their car and like throwing it into the goal. You have to touch the ball lightly so that your car's momentum doesn't completely die. For me, this goal represents all of these goals really well, because it's one of the weirdest, craziest flip resets I think I've ever seen. And he literally does just throw the ball at the goal and somehow manages to score. Like, when he goes up to get a flip reset, he's totally not in a position to score. The fact that he even attempts this is amazing. Number 6, the crazy flick. There have been so many insane flicks that could have made the list easily. It's so hard to actually say which one is the craziest. To pass the test of a crazy flick, it needs to like pull me in and force me to watch it over and over and over again. Like, I need to understand it. And usually with these crazy flicks, you really don't know what's going on until you've watched it a bunch of times. Basically, it needs to blow my mind, which this one really does. Again, I have to give a shout out to Rocket League Insanity. Like, it's honestly crazy how many goals like this get scored by just regular old Rocket League players like you and I. Well, maybe they're better than you and I, but they're often not pros. Anyways, I'd love to see someone replicate this one. Number 5, the full court post pinch. I remember I put this in one of my first top 10 videos, which was the 10 funniest Rocket League goals of all time. I'll put a link to that video in the description if you guys haven't seen it. It's super old and it's pretty funny. This goal made it into that list because it just makes me laugh. And you know a goal is good if it makes you laugh. This one may be a bit less purposeful than some of the other goals. Okay, it's literally a complete fluke. Like, I don't even know how it happened. I think he may have had an idea that he could hit the ball, but I doubt he was planning to do something like this. Number 4, the bumpiest bump goal of all bump goals. We've all hit a player into the ball and watched it fly into the net, whether it's our own net or the opponent's net. We've also seen some crazy bumps to keep players from scoring or keep players from being able to defend their net. This is just another thing in its own league. Again, if it makes you laugh, it might just be crazy enough. I love the way it feels like the car is just being ping-ponged back and forth until he somehow turns it into a goal. The only other bump goal that may be better than this one is this one right here. Number 3, burning 6 players. Dribbling around your opponent is one of the age-old moves in Rocket League. It's incredibly gratifying, mainly because you know how frustrating it is to get burned in Rocket League. Again, this is like some of the other goals we've looked at. If you're not paying close attention, you can easily miss how many people this guy dribbles around. Actually, on one of his moves, he actually burns all 3 players at one time, like they all commit to it. And when I've watched this video, I count 6 times, but you could argue that it's 7. I love this video so much, like I could watch it over and over and over again, because it really shows what Rocket League is all about, embarrassing people. Number 2, flip reset madness. This goal was scored by Sting, a former freestyler who basically paved the way for flip resets. He was really the first person to score flip reset goals. This goal actually happened a year ago, before anybody was even doing flip resets. Sting was doing stuff like this. He gets 2 flip resets off the ceiling and 1 off the ball. I think the most amazing part for me is his sense to dodge the right way after he gets the flip reset off the ball. When I get one of these, I always just like fall away from the ball and then end up dodging the wrong way. Hopefully someday I'll be able to do shots like this. Probably never. Alright, my pick for the craziest goal in Rocket League history actually happened a few days ago. It's the triple flip reset. Just take a look. This goal confirms something that I think we all already knew. I've always wondered if it was possible to keep this kind of momentum while you're doing flip resets. Like, can you just keep hitting the ball a certain way and keep getting flip resets on it so you just are sort of like floating with the ball? Are they kind of like air dribbles or double touches when we first started doing those? Because there was a day when Kronovi got like 5 touches on the ball and was like, oh, clip that was amazing, because it was really crazy for that time. Then we learned that with enough control, you can literally like hold the ball in the air for a really long time. I personally think that flip resets and pinch shots are the 2 biggest changes coming to the competitive scene. In the same way that players in RLCS are now using ceiling shots in all sorts of positions to outplay their opponents and to be unpredictable, I think that players are going to start getting flip resets off the ball like all the time. And they're going to start being able to nail pinch shots from across the field like every single time. That's coming, and it makes me glad that I've been working on my pinch shots. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this one. Again, big shout out to GAMERLINK for sponsoring this video. Again, that's the app that I mentioned at the beginning of the video. It's completely free, and it's the best way to connect with players. So if you're interested in that, again, it's in the description below. Thanks for watching. Peace out.